Hi there, this is Sahara Drac, and this is Nexus Drafthouse, Episode 6. I am with my lovely co-host, Lord of Ascension. His name is Ryan Tower. He's handsome, he knows a lot of things, he's got deep knowledge. And we also have a very special guest tonight. It's Steph Oddish, otherwise known as Oddish on the internets. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. So, this is a show called Nexus Drafthouse. It is entirely and completely about the draft. And we have our guests come on and pick a few drafts, 2 or 3 drafts that they want to talk about that they think people can learn from. And the goal is for you out there to gain valuable insights, learn more about the meta as it currently stands from a very knowledgeable perspective, and do better in your O games, as well as understand when you're watching pro drafts even better than you already do. So let's talk to Oddish. So how are you today?
Excellent, doing well.
Excellent, glad to hear that.
I'm so glad this show exists.
Yeah, you know what?
It's super important. Drafting's critical.
It is, it really is. Like, it's one of my favorite parts of the game too, because it tests your strategic knowledge of the game before the game starts, and it's such a huge factor in your victory, you know.
Right, and you can take huge risks in draft too. It's like you can gamble as well.
Mm-hmm. It's a game in itself, and it's an important game to be good at. That's why we're here. Oh, my phone's ringing because I'm a bad person. There we go. Go ahead.
Teaches us how to throw the game.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So. Okay, so when me and Ryan draft, it's embarrassing because I'm the host of a draft show, and then I'm like, hey, pick Kerrigan. He's banned, dude. She's banned. And I'm like, hey, get Kelthos. He's also banned. Like, look at the bans. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I feel like you are really the target audience of this show.
I am. That's why I made the show, so I could get better. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's completely selfish. I'm
really
going to get pros in here to help me.
Yeah. I'm turning on you, Oddish, because so far he has not picked up anything.
Whoa, that is just not true.
Shots fired.
That is just not true. That is just not true.
Just last night you were like, let's first pick these 2 heroes, even though we know we're not going to do a tank or a healer.
Listen.
And what happened?
What happened is I had an awesome win streak in solo queue. That's all I'm saying. All right, so a little tradition we've gotten going so far on this show is when we have a guest that's never been on before, we ask them the biographical questions from Street Fighter 2. So that is what I'm going to ask you. Your name?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What's your name?
Steph,
got it. And your country, your home country?
United States.
Oh, good one.
Wish I had something clever.
No, that's where Balrog is from, so it's all good. What else? Height? Yes?
Oh my goodness. I am 6'1".
6'1". God, yeah, there you go.
Tall.
No, I'm still the tallest person that's been on Nexus Drafthouse, but you're catching up there. What
maybe
else?
Next time she'll be tall enough.
Yeah, maybe. Keep trying.
Keep
trying,
Oddish.
Oddish.
Heels,
yeah, there you go. What else? Fighting style.
A fighting style?
Mm-hmm.
Aggressive. Super aggressive.
Ruthless aggression. Okay.
Ruthless aggression.
Good. And finally, your blood type.
Ooh, A negative?
Oh, wow.
A positive.
At least you know. Nobody has known so far.
I'm really
I
impressed.
used to donate all the time.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Now
Cool.
it's illegal.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. So tell us about what you've been up to as far as your HOTS gaming and kind of what you got coming up.
Oh my goodness. I play HOTS full time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like on the computer playing Heroes of the Storm 11 hours a day or so. I'm currently on Team Plays. We got to I don't know if you saw the games. In Qualifier 2, we got to the semifinals. We almost qualified.
I did, actually.
But we didn't quite make it, and then we had some roster problems, and we couldn't make it for Qualifier 3. And now Team Plays is currently rebuilding.
Okay, cool.
And HOTS has my heart and soul, and I'm really working on.
That's awesome. Yeah, well,
best.
You're an extremely talented player. We were all, I'm sure, those of you who may not have seen Oddish play before, she made a big splash at the last Heroes of the Dorm with her play, and yeah, she's a great player. So we're very happy to have her here. So thanks again for coming on. And yeah, so the games you picked were from the recent fall qualifier this past weekend, and we're gonna do the whole set of Chew Ate My Hot Doggy versus 2R Gaming. So let's go ahead and load that up there. And the first match was on Infernal Shrines, and the first ban went to 2-arc, and we see something here that's already interesting, right? Compared to previous patches, and that is ETC first ban.
Yes, but I mean, so ETC has become the premier warrior recently. ETC is like the number one warrior, mostly because the Muradin nerfs.
Right.
Muradin is not at all as viable as he was before without the unstoppable on his leap.
So ETC was Mr. Second Ban before, right? Like, he got second banned all the time, but he was never that high priority, probably because of Muradin. So this was... Is he really that... Is ETC really that on top of the heap now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the scrims I've been playing, ETC is picked or banned in the first 3 picks.
Wow. Okay.
So if you're 2-arc here, I think ETC is a pretty safe ban because you're not expecting to get him. You're not expecting to first pick him, although I've seen some teams do that.
Right.
But you're also not expecting him to be in your second or third, so you may as well take out the best tank.
Right. Okay.
So,
that makes sense.
For those who don't maybe play ETC as much or play at that high of levels, what is it about ETC here that they are not interested in letting the other team have? You know, is it the disruption? Is it a particular ability? Overall survivability? What is it?
All of those, really. He's not the most survivable tank, but Power Slide is a really easy to hit stun that has strong, that you can easily follow up with like a Tyran Q or Kalephos Gravity Lapse. And Mosh is always a threat. Even if you're a team with 5 things that can interrupt Mosh, Mosh is still scary. It forces awkward positioning out of your team. It's something that you, the other team's always going to be afraid of. And Power Slide, again, can be used defensively as a peel mechanism. You can have the ETC in front, you can wait for your backline to be dived, and then Power Slide onto that.
Yeah, I've played him a lot. I'm a little out of practice with him, as Ryan learned last night. Miss some moshes, you know? But here's the thing. Hold on. Me and Ryan have to fight real quick. This will take 5 seconds. Everybody remembers the moshes you miss. But nobody talks about my 5-man mosh the day before that won us the game. No mention of that. Okay.
Nope, never.
All right. Anyways, so Infernal Shrines. What are the priorities on this map?
So I like ranged wave clear. Well, first off, it's like the wave clear meta. Wave clear is super important. But you need good wave clear for the shrines. This can sometimes even just be like one Sonya for whirlwinding. But if you have characters like Kalephos and Jaina, you can poke the shrine from afar, and you can actually, if you get an early skull lead, you can actually position outside the shrine and still secure the Punisher.
Right. Oh, yeah. So it's a wave clear map. That's it's a small map with a lot of wave clear priority, kind of like Tomb of the Spider Queen. Okay.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's see what they do for the counter ban here. And it's Kerrigan, who got nerfed like an hour ago, like something like that. So Kerrigan was really strong for the past week or so. Do you think it was maybe a little bit more like too strong of a reaction to Kerrigan for everyone to be first banning her, or did you think it was warranted?
I think it's totally warranted.
Okay.
I think Kerrigan and Greymane were both extremely powerful. So if you're 2-8, you have to ban one of those. And it's also, going back to the ETC ban. The ETC ban's kind of a throwaway ban for that purpose. 2-arc wants to get Kerrigan or Greymane, so by not banning either, they get one of the two.
Okay, so now this is a question I just thought of that actually I don't know the answer to, and I would like to know. Now that we've seen both bans, when do you ban map heroes, like heroes that are great on the map, and when do you ban meta heroes, like Kerrigan's just really strong? Do you ban her first over like a Sylvanas on a map like this one, or like on Battlefield of Eternity? You know what I mean? Do you save the kind of map bans for the second round, or is it higher priority?
Well, I mean, that's difficult. Yeah. Because these meta bans are, so 2-8 could have banned a more meta character like Sylv, or Zul's still pretty good on this map, and they would have gotten words. They would have gotten Kerrigan or the Greymane too.
Right.
So they could have done that, taken that route. But I think that probably just wasn't their plan to begin with,
Mhm.
or maybe they're just fed up with Kerrigan.
Right. They just don't want to deal with it. Yeah.
I mean, you'll see things like Zool first pick, first ban on Tune of the Spider Queen,
Sure.
and I guess I'd say that's still just a meta ban, right? It's the
Mhm.
map, and
I guess
some boots get better.
when I'm drafting in Hero League, sometimes I'll ban a Sylvanas or like someone who's really strong on the map, and then they'll end up getting a Kael'thas, and I'm kind of like, should I have done that? Like in Hero League, I would say you probably should ban Kael'thas because so many more people know how to play him, right? Than
Right.
whoever's good on that map. So that's my problem there. So that's good to know. Thank you. So first pick out of 2-arc is the Greymane. My Bay main, and I know you play a lot of
Same.
Greymane. Yeah.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, he's.
You guys were made for each other.
Yeah,
Alex.
I know.
Go away.
I know. Yeah, Ryan, could you go? Like, we need to talk about Greymane.
Rah.
Yeah. So yeah, Greymane is just, especially with the kind of puzzling buff to his melee damage. That was like everyone was like, "Wait, they did what?" Like
they buffed Greymane? What? It's crazy.
Yeah. But that's gone now after today. So there's the first pick for there. And yeah, I would say that's pretty self-explanatory, right? He's just really strong.
Yes, and he's not even specifically good on this map.
Right.
He can clear pretty well, but he's just a beast.
Right. He is literally, yeah, and
Yes.
figuratively, yeah. So the counter picks from Chew 8 are the Kael'thas and the Falstad, 2 power picks. So some games you'll see kind of people building a comp, sort of thing. Like they're like, we have a plan and it's going to do this thing that throws you off. And sometimes you'll see games like this where like, we just take all the best heroes. And I feel like that's what you should do in Hero League. Of course, it's not always an option because it's like, I only play Murky, sorry, and I'm first pick. Like, and you're like, I love Hero League, yay. And so yeah, Kael'thas and Falstad. Now this is another one where Falstad isn't necessarily the best hero on this map, but he's just a really strong hero on every map, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And
I mean, except like maybe Tomb,
Sure.
super small maps.
I could see that, yeah. Yeah, this is a very tall map, so he's able to get a lot out of his flight still. And yeah, go ahead.
Chewait gets double poke here, like double mage poke. Both of those characters can secure skulls in their shrine.
Okay,
like,
so
Kael'thas is exceptionally good at that.
oh yeah, he's so awesome. I love him too. So at this point, you're on 2-arc. You see these power picks come out, or you're not on 2-arc. Let's just say you're on Battle.net. What are you thinking, and like what do you want to do about this now?
I mean, Chewait hasn't revealed much about their hand right now.
Right.
They haven't done much. They've just picked 2 really powerful mages. They could take their draft in almost any direction from there. They can't go super frontline. With Kael'thas, I'm always worried about burst comps. Like I'm worried about like stun lock comps.
So at this point, you're not worrying about countering them. You're just worrying about building your strong comp.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Although
a special mention, Chewait is known for its Asmodan, which I think influences 2-arc's next ban.
Okay. Yeah, and real quick, we got a question from the chat. It's from Paco the Sage, and he's curious why Falstad might not be that great on Tomb. Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Yeah, small map.
Just
less value
small.
for the mount and the repositioning that he has.
Cool. All right, so second and third picks from 2-arc are Uther Sonya, so stuns and beefiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird for them to take Uther this quick, especially when Rhaegar is still open, and Rhaegar is really good on this map.
Mm-hmm.
But Uther Greymane is super strong together.
Yeah,
they
the
love each
Divine
other.
Shield, yeah.
So you just Divine Shield the Greymane.
This is what Danny and I try to run.
Yeah, it works most of the time.
does.
Yeah,
It does.
I mean, it's really good. That's
Also,
that's my Uther over there.
Uther is almost, I think, he is unrivaled for keeping a single target alive.
Yeah.
Mine is maybe Rhaegar Ancestral, but you have an Uther on single target, like you have so many heals coming that way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love Uther, and I like his new styles too, like his new talent choices. I think they did a really good job with him recently. So, and he's just super fun to play, especially for a healer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think the talent diversity is one of the better things they've done with him.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I think, on a map like this, right? There's talents he can now take that can help him get skulls. Obviously, that's not his primary
Yeah.
function here, but it adds a little bit more utility, which
Right.
I find far more fun to play.
Yeah, and I think with a hero like Greymane, like you can viably do Holy Shock, because it gives you that mega heal after you do it, right? Like you can do kind of weird, fun things like that. He's got a lot of diversity right now. It's awesome.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah. So, Chew 8 now is gonna or ban out. Oh, wrong button. And they go ahead and ban the Sylvanas. So that's a map specific ban, I would imagine.
Yeah.
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 So,
Any map that summons things that push down things.
right.
You're worried about the Sylv.
Any map with big dudes that come out of the map, you're like, Sylv just gets so strong. And
Yes.
yeah, she's a lot to deal with, so it just makes a lot of sense. And the ban from 2-Arc is the Johanna. So tell us about the Johanna ban there.
I think the Johanna's strongest map because, once again, like, wave clear is super important. But I don't think they were thinking wave clear with like Chaos already picked up. 2-8 is strong wave clear. So this is 2-Arc showing fear of an Asmodean. I think entirely.
So they're worried about the Knight takes pawn clearing creeps for Asmodean.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And Tyrael Rhaegar's where this draft from Chew 8 gets a little interesting. Well, Tyrael saw a lot of play this weekend, bugged or not, and what do you think that's about?
I think, not considering the exploit,
Yeah.
Tyrael's gotten a lot stronger. Okay, so when Blaze was playing Tyrael, it's really fun. We were having struggles with him, and we decided the healer would just stop healing Tyrael. Just let Tyrael die because his from the death damage is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think that new talent, is it Even in Death, I think is what it's called?
Which one's that? The one that lets you cast, or the one that gives you shield?
Cast.
Yeah, Even in Death. Yeah.
It's really, really strong.
Is it? Yeah, I haven't tried it. I actually like the shield one. I think that one's pretty cool. If you have a melee heavy comp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, Tyrael can also respond to a melee heavy comp in the same way. So the Sanctification can defend against the Sonya Greymane.
Right.
It gives that. If the Sonya Greymane are diving on the Kael'thas, the Kael'thas can just be sanked in the backline and has a chance to survive.
So
is the return of the Tyrael an influence the Asian meta, or is it just we're now starting to figure out how to use him with some of the adjustments, the talents, or what is it that's really driving his return in North America?
I mean, it might be kind of the Asian meta, or I think more like the Asian meta had it right all along, and it was just really weird why North America hadn't caught up on the train. Yeah, it's about time, really.
Yeah, I'm. So where would you say Tyrael's a top 5 warrior now?
Yes.
Nice. That's awesome. Or maybe always was, and just tweet it and play it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's so cool. He's like a support warrior, which is so cool in and of itself, and he's really good. So yeah, that's great. And the final 2 picks from 2-Arc, Li Ming Muradin. So I have questions about Li Ming in the current meta, but do you have any comments about these 2 picks?
I still main Li Ming. I love Li Ming. She came out this late because she has low priority on this map.
Yeah, not her best map. No,
not her best map by far. But other options here, like you could have gone Lunara. But not sure. Also, tanks were choked out, so...
Right, 2-Arc was really emphasizing stopping the tanks on the other side.
Yes.
Yeah. So my question about Li Ming in the current meta is, it feels like she should be better in this meta, and I kind of think she is because of heroes, maybe until today, heroes like Kerrigan. There's a lot of emphasis on these melee bruisers, melee assassins, and Li Ming really excels against those kind of heroes. So I don't understand why Li Ming is kind of dropped in the priority. She used to be, top of the top, mostly. And now she kind of is like this throwaway pick, or like, we need a little damage, but she doesn't get banned a whole lot. What do you think that's about?
I think
Go ahead.
I'm not sure I agree with her being a counter to the melee characters.
No?
I think in the melee
Please correct me. I know nothing.
Well, I think in the current melee meta, like Greymane and Kerrigan are both targets that are kind of hard to hit. Li Ming orbs do very little damage from close range.
Right.
So if you're like in her face, she's hard to hit. And also the seeker missiles are hard to hit against close targets in general. You need to have something that slows your targets, stuns your targets, or you're just relying on your skill shots, but those aren't going to hit all the time.
Right.
So like a Greymane that's like rushing at the Li Ming is not going to be able to get enough damage on that Greymane before she gets ripped to shreds.
Yeah, no, I definitely think Greymane kills Li Ming. Like, you know, like we're fighting each other situation. I was more thinking along the lines of like Kerrigan jumps in and does her combo, and she's standing still to do that. Right. So it's kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like Li Ming should still be really good.
No, I agree. Li Ming is frustrating against characters like a noob and Zagara, and even like Nazeebo and Zool. Like all those characters are spawning things
little
that
guys
get in the way of your missiles. And so your Seeker isn't proccing, your Orbs are popping early. It's a pain.
It is. I love Anubarak right now. I love how he's a really good hero, but only in certain times. Yeah.
Which is perfect.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
It's how all heroes should be. Yeah.
I agree.
All right. So, final pick from Chew 8, my hot doggy, is Diablo. So they go with the off-tank Diablo. What do you think that's about?
Well, this is Diablo's map. You're going to pick Diablo, it's on Infernal Shrines. You can clear the shrines really well, and I think he's mostly picked here for peel. There's a few times where I watched the game, Diablo had some amazing peels, like just throwing the Greymane away from the Kael'thas.
Right.
So they definitely got value out of the Diablo. I think it's... Personally, I love Diablo. You know, nothing's a better peel than just like suplexing.
Yeah, he suplexes people. It's amazing. Like, I've loved that dude since Alpha. I was just like, this is the coolest interpretation of a hero ever. Like, he's just he's the greatest. So yeah, I think that pick's really cool there. I just wasn't sure what the maybe the reasoning was. Obviously, a tank and a bruiser, or actually these guys are both kind of bruisery, but. They're not like main tanks, you know. But this 2 warrior meta is pretty prevalent now. But you don't see Diablo too often, so that's cool to see. So normally I do a highlight video for each game, but every time I did that, it made my stream like go crash and go really choppy. So we're just gonna look at the stats because I don't know how to fix that problem yet.
Okay.
So thanks very much to MasterLeague.net. If you guys have not seen MasterLeague.net or checked it out, it's mind-blowingly thorough Heroes of the Storm statistics site.
Ooh, I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, check it out. It's got everything from every game. Yeah. So, yeah, it was your average 21-minute game. Chew 8, I ended up winning it with a couple kills over. But taking a look at the... what stands out to you in these numbers here, I guess?
I actually let me look.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's fine.
You're not on my computer? What?
What stands out to me huge is the damage on Li Ming.
Right.
You wouldn't expect Li Ming to get a ton of damage on this map.
Yeah, she's almost got 100,000. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. 90,000.
Yeah.
And the 0 deaths, for that matter. They obviously weren't able to shut her down.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Yep. And the Falstad on the side of Chew 8 getting, experience value. As you'd expect for a Falstad too.
Right.
So that means they're utilizing that properly.
Yeah, so 5 kills for the Li Ming, quite a bit in a game with only 13 kills in the game. So
Stikuk is amazing though.
Yeah, I watched those VODs today and I was very impressed by his play for sure. All right, cool. So Chew 8 won that one, and they went into game 2 on. Load that up. On the Tomb of the Spider Queen. So another similar kind of map, but this time Chew 8 gets the first ban because they lost the first game. And they go ahead and opt for the Kael'thas, I'm assuming for those wave clear reasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So. And Kael'thas is just kind of strong. I kind of disagree with this ban. I don't think Kael'thas is really strong. Well, as strong as he was.
I agree.
This kind of feels kind of hero leaguey to me.
Sure.
But that is Chew 8 is like the underdog ragtag hero league.
Right.
So,
that is what they.
Sense.
I mean, that kind of does make sense. So, who's your first ban on this map? If it's you,
I'm afraid of Zool.
Zool.
I'm afraid of Sylve.
Sure, specialists. Yeah.
Here, I'd be super afraid of Kerrigan still.
Okay.
And I'd still be looking to pick up the Greymane or Kerrigan.
Cool.
Look at that, Danny. We're doing it right.
Yes, we're doing it right.
Right.
Yes! I knew I could do something right.
Still is our go-to here. Or ban.
Yeah. We do ban Zool here.
Yeah, I mean, Sylve is especially good on this map
sorry.
Yeah.
because, like, no matter how bad you're losing, you're still going to get a web weaver wave, usually. And then you're going to get Sylve value regardless. Like, Sylve is a little scarier on Infernal Shrines and a Battlefield for Eternity because you might never win a Shrine phase.
Right.
It's much more likely on Tomb that you're going to get those beefy guys to push with.
Right, you're gonna at least get some spiders. Plus, she defends the spiders really well. She defends all the map objective guys really well. But it seems like she's able to burn those spiders so quickly because of the AOE, Shadow Dagger, and stuff. So 2ARC does indeed ban out the Kerrigan. I guess she just got overbuffed. I don't.
She was broken, honestly.
Yeah.
So makes sense.
And Ryan got to be happy for one whole week.
Yeah, it lasted so long. But
Glad you got value out of it.
yeah, at least it happened, right?
It happened. She's still good. I mean,
this is Danny all week. Hey, you should play Tyrannier. She's banned. Oh.
She's banned. Danny, she's banned. She's still banned. Yeah, so first pick is the Zool from Chew8. So Zool got nerfed today as well. So we're seeing a lot of these. I'm very interested to see what happens with these drafts in the upcoming pro games with these nerfs that happened today, because a lot of the high priority heroes got nerfed today. So
They did. I haven't felt the impacts of the Zool nerf, so I don't really know what's going on with that.
yeah, I felt like he was fairly balanced personally. But you know,
Me too.
I'm not.
They're probably looking at pick rates. And stuff.
Yeah, I don't have all the data they have, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So there's Zool there, and the first two picks from 2ARC is going to be ETC Sylvanas. So that's gross. Like that's like, oh, I'm scared now, and you should be. Yeah.
2ARC, they've got the best tank in the game,
Yeah.
and they've got Sylve, which we were talking about earlier. Amazing. Also, you don't ever want to give, pretty much on any map, you don't want to give a team Zool Sylvanas.
Right.
Because Zool Sylvanas opens up this weird cheese where you have the Zool dual soaking and you have the Sylvanas in a 4-man push.
Right. The push is just too much. Yeah.
The push is too much, and you can't really respond to it well because your structures aren't actually helping you when you have a Sylvanas on the enemy team.
Right. Yeah. So if you're playing Tomb of the Spider Queen later, the heroes you see on your screen here, except for maybe the Kerrigan and the Zool, depending on how severe their nerfs end up being, these are people you want to prioritize if you can. So keep that in mind.
Oh, yes.
For now. So Chew8 picks up Johanna and Azmodan. So these are all three of these heroes on Chew8 are great Tomb of the Spider Queen heroes, right? Like they're very map specific heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of like a gamble by Chew8. It's like if you let this happen and roll, if you let this ball get rolling, there's just no way out of it. Like the Azmodan dunks, the Johanna turning in 530 gems, you know, the Zool skeletons. It's just madness. So, you know, I like this kind of draft. I like map specific drafts. I think they're interesting because you see things you don't normally see, like Azmodan.
Me too. I really think it's a strength of Heroes of the Storm in general that they have different map variety.
Definitely.
But this is kind of weird to me. I think the Zool Johanna together is almost too much wave clear for the Spider Queen. Like Zool needs 2 waves to clear. Johanna can clear 2 waves herself, but the Johanna Azmodan are going to go mid top usually to clear waves, and then the Zool. What's the Zool going to do? The Zool can't even really help generate stacks.
Right.
So this, if I'm 2ARC, I'm thinking that the Zool is going to be bot lane almost exclusively.
Sure. It's almost, this Chew8 draft is like kind of like saying, hey, just don't fight us. Like, don't team fight. We're going to we're going to be over here PvEing and you guys like just ignore us. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it can work, but... So the ban does end up being Zagara on the side of 2ARC. Why do you think they banned Zagara when they already had a specialist in Zool, and when is that appropriate?
Jeez, I wish I could interview them because it doesn't make sense.
Okay, because I was like, I'm not sure about that either, yeah.
I mean, so the Zagara's a really strong solo laner. Mm-hmm. I think 2ARC got a little, it's a little stretch for me to say this, but I think 2ARC got a little confused because they're like, they aren't expecting Zool to be the bot lane, and they're like, okay, so let's remove a solo laner, and
it could remove Thrall though, you know, if you're gonna remove a solo laner.
Yeah, but That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both strong.
Yeah.
They're both strong.
Uh,
But yeah.
What I think happened is they're like, these guys are Chew8's team. They're just off battle. They're just doing this for funsies, and they're just, kind of trolling around. Are they going to try to, like, Johanna Force Specialist us and just, like, go nuts on this map? And
It can totally work.
Yeah, and of course, it can work, and maybe that's why they did it. They're like, no, we're not doing this. Like,
I mean, Zag is so anti-fun to play against.
She
in my
is,
opinion,
she
too.
is.
It's just, God, this creep everywhere. It's gross. I don't want to step in it.
Especially
I'm
with
just
the
like,
buffs.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, the vision alone, although they do have some decent creep clear heroes.
Yeah.
And Mutalisks. You have to kill the Mutalisks now.
Yeah.
You can't ever let them sit.
Yeah.
And I think that's got to be a problem in the lower levels.
So-
because they're hard to target. And just, ew.
Yeah, they never die. It's ridiculous.
Yes,
So,
and then
I played thousands and thousands of games of League of Legends, thousands and thousands of games in Dota, and my one beef I always had in those games was heroes that make everyone else play different. Right? Like cloaked heroes, or like in those games, cloaked heroes are like, they're actually cloaked. So like you have to buy all these items to see them. You have to do all this special stuff for them. And I kind of feel like Zagara is like that. It's like, now Zagara's in the game, now you play the Zagara game,
Yes.
Which,
yes.
I don't know, just bugs.
Asmo does the same.
Asmo also does that,
And
yes.
Sylvchan, too.
Yeah, it's a specialist thing.
It's God, it's so not. Oh man.
Yeah.
Go to flashbacks. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry I mentioned the games that shall not be named, but I feel like it's important to draw comparisons.
Dota was my roots.
Oh yeah, I love me some Dota, especially Dota 1. Anyways,
Yes, moving on.
the ban is the Thrall that I had mentioned. So they end up banning out the Thrall. Is that because they don't want them to have another strong solo laner? They already have, yeah.
I guess if the Zag's gone, you may as well, right?
Sure.
Like you've removed two super strong solo laners.
Plus, he does add a lot of poke to a comp, and they have a lot of tools to let Thrall throw a lot of lightning on their team. So with the ETC Sylvanas, I guess ETC can kind of zone out for Thrall. I don't know. I think one of the most underrated aspects of Thrall is his poke that a lot of people don't know or emphasize. Right. So Jaina, Rhaegar, and I watched this VOD, and they were hovering the Li Ming. I think it was Li Ming. They were hovering someone, and they ran out of time. You can see the timer there, and they did have Jaina highlighted, but I don't think they were sure. And then it just ran out on them, and they got Jaina. So why do you think they were thinking about Jaina, and what do you think Jaina brings to this comp?
I mean, picking Jaina has to be stressful. Like, no one really knows how good Jaina is
right.
yet.
She's a mystery, yeah.
She's a mystery. I believe in her. I think she's great. Yeah. I'm really happy that 2ARC picked her.
She
provides this counter wave clear that's a ranged wave clear against the Asmodan comp. Mm-hmm. And even her slows can sometimes punish the frontline tanks. I really like Jaina against the melee meta.
Sure.
You could think that, like, Jaina's just going to get eaten by Greymanes, but her ability to kite melee assassins
the slows,
is
yeah,
pretty strong. So
yeah, she might be a little bit of an undervalued hero right now. We'll see if she comes around more and more. So final two picks, the Morales and the Falstad, and I was puzzled, to say the least, by the Morales pick here. What do you think that is all about?
Okay, so I really don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I really thought this set was interesting. I'm so happy we're reviewing these drafts.
Yeah.
The Morales pick actually ends up getting super punished. So Chew8 lost this game on that Morales pick, in my opinion.
Sure.
Morales can be really strong with medevac plays, like we've seen.
Sure.
In the Asian scene, but.
So
didn't come out.
So that doesn't teach me a lot. Tell me when you should pick Morales.
Morales is great when you have characters that are strong with stim drone.
Sure.
Like if you have Morales Greymane on Battlefield for Eternity, you can use the stim drone to burst down the Immortal really fast.
With Eager Wolf later in the game too, like you're just like,
oh my goodness, you're like a blur.
Yeah, you would just be this cartoon, yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so
medevac is super strong as well as a disengage for your team. It allows you to leave fights pretty easily. It's kind of hard to kill a medevac
it's got a lot of
before
health.
It takes off. It's got a lot of health, and medevac is also good on large maps like Cursed Hollow. There's like nothing
Right.
scarier than being able to take your safe side boss and
Yeah.
then medevac all the way to the other side and beat the other team to theirs.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
that is awesome.
So instead of Morales here, who would you have picked up?
I actually probably would have gone with Malfurion. I think
Oh, really?
Malfurion is a strong backline support character. I think that's kind of what they were looking for. They're like, we want a healer that we think we can keep safe that does a lot of healing.
Right.
Morales is also the absolute best early game healer there
Mhm.
is.
Mhm.
If you're playing Hero League or anything, if one team has Morales, you should not fight, in my opinion. I think the heals are just outrageously better than any other healer.
Like just skip the objective the first time, pretty much. Just
Well,
just
not
soak.
even.
Like,
I would say that skip the first like 4 minutes. Skip the first four
Okay.
levels of fighting. It's not
Yeah.
that much.
yeah,
But
because it depends on the objective. But yeah,
Yeah. Sure.
that's cool. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way. I mean, they are really strong for sure. Her heals early game.
So you're looking at their team. They don't really have that much dive. Malfurion's also a character that can support from the back and can,
Mm-hmm.
dish out a lot of healing, but also has the utility of root to kind of keep themselves alive.
Plus, their team doesn't have a ton of burst, right? So Malfeal gets the HOT. It gets a lot of value because they're not gray maining your face off yet, or well, they won't. But yeah. So I actually had not thought of Malfurion there. I don't think anybody thinks of Malfurion. I think everyone forgot he's in the game. So
Yeah.
Morales, yeah, okay. So there's the Zeratul there. Now they have some burst. And that Zeratul, is that about the Morales pick, or what do you think that's about?
I think it is about the Morales pick.
Mhm.
Both Morales and Falstad are squishies,
Yeah.
and especially the Morales, because Zeratul can sometimes just jump in the back, kill the Morales. Morales is dead,
Right.
and all of a sudden, Joey doesn't have healer.
Mhm.
Also, Tuark heavily favors the Zeratul. They've got a very good Zeratul player, so they do seem to prioritize the Zera.
That's cool. Yeah, he's not the most popular hero in the pro scene, but you do see him from time to time when it warrants it, and this is definitely one of those times. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about this draft? What do you think of this draft the first time you saw it?
I thought it was ridiculous, which immediately means I love it. I'm like, I want to see what happens. It was really
for
fun
sure.
to watch. I felt like Tuark had the stronger draft until the Zeratul. I thought Zeratul was a little bit out of place, but the Zeratul does put on some aggression that you need if you're playing against an Azmodan comp. Like, you need to get in the Azmodan's face and deny stacks, or you need to be pushing and winning the game before Azmodan gets strong.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're on the clock against this kind of comp, for sure,
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, so take a look at the stats here. Tuark was pretty dominant this game. Oh, wait. Am I looking at the right thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I am, okay. Tuark was pretty dominant. Sorry, it has this black bar on the top, and how do I get rid of that? Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of what happened here was the anti-synergy between the Zool and the Johanna. Like, they've got too much going on for wave clear,
Sure.
and they didn't have good enough team fight to handle.
So you feel Zool Johanna is redundant, basically.
Yes.
They're filling the same role. Okay.
So they had the Zool rotating mid-bottom,
Mhm.
because the Zool kind of ran out of things to do bottom, so he'd go up a lot. He ended up getting ganked a few times.
Yeah, I mean, look at those 8 deaths, right? I mean, that just sits way out.
Yeah, it's a
to everyone else.
lot of deaths. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous for Zool to die that many times.
And the other thing I've noticed is the hero that's dedicated solely to the act of healing and does nothing else really has the same healing as a healer who bites you and slows you and does other things. He's like a utility healer. So that's a bad
Right.
sign when you see that. Yeah. That's what
Sure.
stands out to me for sure. So yeah, Tuark won that game in a pretty normal pace. I wish I could get highlights to work on the stream. I don't know what's with my computer, but yeah, it was a good game. You should check it out if you're watching and you want to see how this draft kind of played out. The medic was definitely a liability this game, and you'll see why. Yeah. All right. Oh wait, there's an Ariel trailer. Nice.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. It's cool.
Is it good? Okay, I'll have to watch that. All right. So, the third and final game between these awesome teams was on Sky Temple, and it was Tuark's I'm sorry. Chew8 had the first ban because for whatever reason on this VOD, they got to the draft a little late when they started showing it, so some picks had already happened, so I couldn't get each step. So first ban Kerrigan, second ban ETC. We've gone over that luckily, so we don't need to go over any of these picks in any way. But I do want to ask you, what changes when you're drafting on Sky Temple?
Sky Temple, you really like Falstad, is what I first think on Sky Temple. Or Brightwing. Globals in general are really strong because it's such a large map.
Sure.
And the shrines are not... The temples aren't always that great.
Right.
If you have a Falstad, you can get a lot of value out of the experience of split pushing during a shrine phase. Also, what you can do is, say there's a temple top and a temple bottom, you can actually have that Falstad taking temple shots and using the temple while waiting for the team fight to happen bottom.
Right. Yeah, that's. I mean, he's a great hero here. Would you be tempted to ban him over an ETC or a Kerrigan?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So that's an instance where the map, he's so strong on the map it even supersedes the meta heroes.
Right.
Okay.
Certainly.
Interesting. Cool. All right.
So this is
Go ahead.
This is the same thing that happened the first game, I think.
It is.
Two Arc's first pick, they first ban ETC.
Yeah,
Yep. Exact same thing from 2 Arc, which, if it ain't broke, I guess,
Yeah.
Well, they did lose that first game, right?
No, the
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Most recent game. So there's Kael'thas, and ETC is banned out, so they opt for the Sonya. And I see Sonya picked on Sky Temple a lot. I mean, I see her picked a lot everywhere, but she seems to be on every Sky Temple game. Does she have some kind of advantage on Sky Temple because it's so wide open, or is it just kind of coincidence? Or what do you think prompted the Sonya pick here?
Sonya's is really good against mercenaries because she has strong self-sustain with War Paint.
Okay.
That allows her to be very good at taking the bruiser camp when you need the bruiser camp. Also, she can solo the shrines without taking much damage, which is very useful. So you can kind of take the shrine without losing team fight capability.
Okay. I had not thought of that. That's good. So if you're drafting in Sky Temple and your first pick or something, and you maybe don't play some of the more quote-unquote OP heroes, and you do know how to play Sonya, that's a good choice.
Yeah, I think this is kind of also a throwback to the first draft, where 2 Arc took Uther Sonya as their next picks.
Right.
So I think Chew8 is thinking, if they don't take Sonya now, Sonya is good on this map. They have, but they have to if they don't.
We don't want the same thing happening. Yeah. Okay.
And that's what I really like about this draft in general, is that I feel like it's an evolution of their series. Like, now both teams are kind of getting into the heads of the other teams and trying to throw them off balance.
Which is one of my favorite things, is draft mind games, right? It's so cool. And yeah, you can definitely... I didn't think about that with the Sonya, but I remember, the first game. So that's also what that's about. Interesting. So there is the Uther, just like the first game, and with the Muradin. And so you were saying ETC has kind of surpassed Muradin, and he's dropped off a little. Do you still agree with the Muradin pick here?
Yeah, I think Muradin's still strong. Muradin's still really hard to kill with Avatar. You still gotta disengage. You just have to kind of time it right. But if you're on the same page with the Uther Muradin, you can kind of unstoppable his leap anyway.
Right. You can just cleanse him out, Right.
Okay.
Cool. So Uther Muradin, so very strong CC-oriented front line for Greymane to get his poke in, and then maybe capitalize on those stuns.
Right.
And of course, Divine Shield on your Dark Flight is feels so good. Yeah.
Sure does.
So the first ban. So I thought this ban was interesting. I was like, that was like the last hero I expected to see banned here, and it was Tassadar from Chew8. Tassadar was in every game like a month ago, and not so much anymore. Tell us about Tassadar.
Well, we call Tassadar an enabler, because Tassadar enables these melee assassins to really go off.
Right.
Tassadar is super strong with characters like Tracer and Illidan, especially Tracer, because the shield essentially is almost doubling her health pool.
Right.
It's not that much, but it feels that way.
Yeah.
And Leeching Plasma is super good on strong melee, on strong auto attackers. So I think Chew8's we don't want any shenanigans. We're just going to take out the Tassadar. Sure. Tassadar also Also on Sky Temple, very large map. You want strong solo laners
Right.
that have good wave clear, and Tassadar is both of those.
He fits the bill. He's the Swiss Army knife of HOTS. He does it all.
Yeah, which is kind of surprising to a lot of people that
Mhm.
Tass is such a good solo, but he can get it done.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing I also know, so that sort of the same thing is there's kind of a protect the Greymane comp forming over here on the side of 2-Arc, and Tassadar can definitely be a part of that. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So the ban then from 2-Arc comes out as Tyrael, which I found fascinating because you don't see that ban very often at all. But we talked a little bit about Tyrael in Game 1, I believe. And do you think that's basically because of Game 1?
Yes, I think it's because of Game 1, but also special that 2-Arc took Muradin in their first 3 picks.
Mm-hmm.
So by banning Tyrael, you're choking out the tank hero pool.
Right, which 2-Arc has been doing a lot these games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, I don't remember who their ban was in the second game, but I know they banned 2 warriors in the first game, so they like to choke out the warrior choices, which is cool. I mean, that's a cool style. I like seeing stylistic, I like seeing teams that have a draft style. That's very, very, very neat to me.
You just have to be careful you don't become too predictable.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You become known for something, yeah. For sure. So Rhaegar Falstad, basically just really good dudes at healing and hurting stuff, or is there more to it than that?
Well, I was just talking about how amazing Falstad is.
Right,
It's wild
right.
that Falstad got this far.
Yeah, he's the 7th
I was
pick.
shocked, actually.
Yeah.
It was winning.
Yeah.
Or 8th pick, yeah.
So I think 2-Arc maybe should have banned the Falstad instead, but they're like, we're going to throw them off their game by banning out the Tyrael. Also, Tyrael is that extra good protection against dive comps like the Greymane. So
Yeah, and
but yeah.
Falstad is, I mean, he's good even on small maps, but man, here he just really shines.
Absolutely.
Then things get kooky. It's a Zeratul Tracer. So theory craft art that Zeratul Tracer for us, Oddish, if you would.
When I played against 2-Arc on Team Plays, we lost a whole series against them where they played nothing but Zeratul Tracer.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't even want to ban the Zeratul Tracer because we're like, this can't be good. Like, we don't.
Why is this good?
Ban it. Like, why are we getting destroyed? So I feel kind of responsible for 2-Arc losing the series because I feel like Team Plays baited them into thinking this comp was great.
You were the straw man that they beat up.
Yes.
And then they got a false sense of confidence. Okay.
I think maybe. I think it's a super strong comp. Void Prison in the right hand
scares the hell out of me. Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight
disgusting.
that.
Yeah, you look at it and you're kind of intimidated.
Yeah.
And it's super, super aggressive dive.
Right.
Like, and I think what's really important with this comp is to get an early lead.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2-8 ends up punishing this with a lot of siege and a lot of grouped up pressure. They don't let 2-Arc get picks and early experience.
Mm-hmm. Which is really hard to do. It's hard to siege like that and not get punished for it.
But they don't have super punish for the siege. They don't have like a Li Ming is really good defending your structures, for instance. Whereas Zera and Tracer are really looking to catch somebody off guard. They're trying to get ganks. So if your Falstad is on point, watching his own back, and your other Sonya's probably your other solo laner, and Sonya's really hard to kill. Like, it limits the gank options from 2-Arc. Yeah. And so they weren't able to secure that early lead that, like, snowballs out of control with Tracer Zeratul Greymane.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, these guys are awesome, obviously, but it's still, like, got to be in your head, right? Like, even if you're like, I got to be really careful, I'm Falstad, just the idea of a Tracer Zeratul popping out of a bush behind you, you're like, oh, dear God. Like, yeah. So it's pretty impressive that they were able to deal with it. Final pick from Chu 8 is going to be the Arthas. Now that is interesting to me.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think Arthas is an excellent pick against melee characters.
Yeah, right? I mean, Tracer's going to struggle against it. Zeratul's going to get caught up. Do you think that it's about these dive melee kind of fragile heroes? That's awesome.
Certainly. I think it's excellent counter pick.
I love Arthas.
His new skin is pretty cool, too.
Yeah, I bought it right
Oh,
before we
so
started.
cool.
I own every Arthas skin, all like 27 of them.
And you almost never play him.
No, I don't. No, I don't. But he's awesome. So yeah, the Arthas final pick. That's really on the ball, like thinking there. I think from them, especially for a team that doesn't like they met each other that day. Like like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like that's a very cool kind of very strategic pick there. That I think probably from what I saw watching the game, we could take a look at the stats here. That is why they won. I feel was the Arthas. So, oh look, everyone's saying hi to Oddish. Hi. Okay.
Hey.
So, yeah, I feel like the Arthas was the staple of this game, and he did some serious work. His numbers aren't anything through the roof, but you can't quantify like CC or slow.
Right.
Yeah. So, what stands out to you in these stats? It's a short game.
It was a short game.
Especially
Yeah.
on that map.
Well, you've got all these squishy characters that totally backfired on 2-Arc.
Mm-hmm.
That all of a sudden, the Greymane was dying a ton, the Zera was dying a ton. Greymane's really tough when you're behind, because you want to dive in and start slapping people, but
Right.
if your enemies are
I
just
have noticed
stronger
that.
than you, you're just going to die.
Yeah,
It's gross.
that does happen. So, 2-Arc, if you were wondering what happened in this game, Oddish confessed. It was Blaze that you beat Blaze with this comp, and maybe that's what happened here. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
very awesome. So, Chew Ate My Hot Doggy ended up winning that series and going on to a controversial loss to Astral Authority.
Yes. I wanted them to win.
I know, I did too, because I like Chew Ate's stream a lot. So,
Yes.
he's a good guy. Met him a couple times, but they do end up going further than I think anyone anticipated in this series. So very good on them. Yeah. So I mean, they just kind of they're like, hey man, want to play some heroes? Sure. And then they're like going up against Astral Authority in this tournament. So good for them. Yeah. Very cool series of drafts there, and I learned a lot actually from that. So.
Good, I'm glad.
Mission accomplished. I do all this work so I can just learn things about the draft. But hopefully the people in the chat room did too. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about those games? We can go back and look whatever you want, or any kind of. How do I ask this? Like, if the people watching this could take one thing away about drafting, like, what would you tell them? I know it's kind of a hard question.
I mean, my takeaway really is that ETC is ridiculously strong.
Sure.
And Greymane and Kerrigan is ridiculously strong. But that's not entirely true after today's patch.
Right.
Also, to make sure your draft isn't hurting itself. Like, your characters, like on the second draft from Tomb of the Spider Queen, the Zool and Johanna, they don't mesh. They don't have good synergy.
Right.
You'd say they're both good characters on Tomb.
Right.
Guaranteed, but together they don't really work out.
And that's hard to figure out. You have to really have a lot of
Right.
game knowledge to know, like, okay, this is too much.
Yeah, it's like Blaze. We lost our game in the semifinals because we ran a bunch of double support comps and we loved them. We ended up playing Lily Uther.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
And we completely lost because we didn't have enough wave clear. And it
Right.
turns out that the Rhaegar is essential, is critical to the double support comp, because Rhaegar is the support character that can easily clear waves. Which is what you're really lacking in other support, double supports.
Cool. Well, I loved this episode. I had a good time. You're awesome, Oddish.
Good.
Thank you so much for coming on. I know.
Well, it's,
Definitely.
what?
Yeah,
It's wonderful to meet you too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
for
And
sure.
I'm sure are you going to be at BlizzCon? Because we'll be there.
Yes.
All right, well, there you go.
Certainly. Can't wait to see you too.
Yeah,
For sure.
So that's Oddish. You can follow her at Steph Oddish on Twitter, and also your Twitch, right? Or what's your Twitch?
Which is Oddish Plays Games.
Oddish plays games. Okay,
I'll say hi in chat.
Okay, yeah, do that. Yeah. So yeah, awesome insights from Oddish. Very very smart player, very smart drafter, and skilled, and just awesome, and I hope you and Team Blaze do really well in the near future. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Sure.
And guys, this VOD will be on our YouTube and obviously here on the Twitch channel within 24 hours. If you missed any part of it or want to go over some draft stuff again with Oddish, you can follow us on Storm Legacy Team on Twitter, and also our fan site is stormlegacy.com. And we'll be here next Thursday, I believe, with Crowan. We're going to try and make it work out. And yeah, we are going to do this every week, so there's always something to learn. And thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Bye.